Let's create our first Django app. As you can see here, our server is still running. We can just write Ctrl C to close this server or to end the server. And we need to use the the Django admin, Django-admin, start app, and we can call it blog. So the name of our app here is blog. Now, what is the difference between a Django project and a Django app? A Django project is the overall structure of your project, but the Django app are the different components of your project. Take, for example, Facebook. Facebook is a project, but within Facebook, there are so many components like the chat component, which you call the messenger, the to-do list, the Facebook market, and the Facebook page, and several other components of Facebook. So each of those components of Facebook are regarded as the apps. The same way, in our Django, the project is the overall structure of the infrastructure, but the application or the app are the components that make up our project. I just hope that is clearer. So we can hit enter. Notice that a new folder or directory was created here. And this new folder or directory that was created here is called blog because I called it blog. Now, by default, Django is not understanding how to work with this particular application. In fact, Django does not recognize this particular application. Now, to tell Django how that we created an application, we will go to our project, which in my case is news. And under the project, we look for settings.py. And on the settings.py, we look for the list of installed app. So these are the installed applications on our Django project. Now, the list of these installed applications are some of the applications that Django has automatically created for us. Applications like the admin. So Django has created the admin where we can manage our project from. Django has already also created the authentication, which is the django.contrib.auth. Django also creates a content type as well as session, messages, and static files. So we need to add the one we created, the application that we created into this particular project. So we must make it a string, and the name is blog. And that's all for now. So now Django knows that we have an application. Now, but Django does not know how to render that application into our browser. So we must tell it to handle all the URLs that are coming from our applications. So to do that, we should go to the news, which is the project, and we look for a file that is known as urls.py. And here on the urls.py, I'm going to delete these comments because they're useless. Now, I am going to add include and also I am going to use this same thing, path function, and then empty string, and I am going to tell it to include, and what I want to include is blog app.urls. So I want to include the blog, and what I want to include inside of this blog is the URLs. And that is basically all that I want to do. So I will need to also, in the blog, I will need to also create the URLs, urls.py. Now that I've created the urls.py, please let's make this a string. Okay. Now, let's close this. And on the blog, which is the app, the Django app, we must go to the URLs and we add something. So what we are going to do is almost exactly as what we have here. So I am just going to just copy this and take it here. Now I don't need the include function again, and as well I don't need the admin. But the only thing that I will need here is the views. Now I will explain this better in the next module. But Django is an MVT architecture. MVT stands for Model View Template. So the model is just a structure of the database, just handles our database, and the views handles the logic on how these data are transferred to the browser. Now, the view sends whichever logic that it has into the template, which is basically the HTML of our project. And that is how the users will see whatever they are requesting for from the website. So we're going to just do one view here. So let's create one view, and we can create a function. We can call it home, passing request parameter and return. Let's import HTTP response. So from Django.http import HTTP response, and we are going to use HTTP response here and just say welcome to my app. All right, let us now return this function into this URL. So here we can import the view. So we can say from dot import views, and we can now say views dot home, because this is the function, and then let's set the name as equal to home. All right, let's try to run our server. So we use Python manage.py run server. And we can see what we have. So you can see welcome to my app. So that is how to create your app in Django.